Another one.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Tincho. It's your boy MP Pair Sources coming at you guys again. So as you guys know, the top 5 leagues in Europe have already started. Some are 3 weeks in, some are 2 weeks in. And I usually don't like to make big predictions regarding some of the teams and how they're going to do based off just 2 or 3 games. But this case, I'm going to make an exception. Now, if you guys have been following me for a long period of time, you guys know that I don't like to make Champions League predictions before the season starts because I always think that Champions League has a lot to do with not just skill, but also with luck. For Champions League, you have to have a good team, but you also have to have luck. You guys know PSG has no limit to the spending that they're willing to make. They just got Mbappe after less than a month after signing Neymar, and so they just splash money wherever they want. It's something that not every team in Europe is willing or capable of doing, despite all of the money that they've spent so far in this summer, despite all the money that they've spent since the new investors joined in. I still think that they're far from a Champions League. They didn't solve the problems that haunted them last season, and I don't see them progressing any more than they have in the past couple of years. I don't see them improving much in the areas that they were weak last year. I just don't see them as a Champions League caliber team yet. Some of the problems that they had last season, they didn't really necessarily try to go out and fix them. They just beat around the bush to the problems that they had. They think that if you just spend all the money that you have on big attacking players, that somehow is just going to win you the Champions League. And that is far from true because as we've seen in the past, Champions League winning teams have to have a good defense. So last season we saw it perfectly. They were up 4-0 against Barcelona. They scored in a crucial away goal and they couldn't hang on. Instead of going out to buying Neymar, to buying Mbappe, they should have spent more money on defense. Sure, they brought in Dani Alves, but one right back isn't the solution to their whole problem. Now, again, I always said that PSG needed that leadership. They needed a solid defender in the back. Thiago Silva is not that player anymore. This isn't 2012 Thiago Silva that they brought in straight from AC Milan. That is not the player anymore. I don't see Marquinhos evolving into that player either. Now, I did like them signing Dani Alves because I think he's a player with lots of experience and great character, but I don't think one person is able to change the entire environment of their defense. I guess that's something that they expected from Thiago Silva when they brought him in and appointed him captain, but I just haven't seen it throughout his time in PSG. I don't think he's the captain that they needed, especially in games like that. Scoring has never been an issue for PSG. They've always had high-caliber players that are able to score. They scored 5 goals in 2 games against Barcelona. That, again, is not the problem. The problem was their defense. Shaky at all times. Just not confident back there. There's no character there willing to set everyone straight. They need someone out there. They need a strong captain. They need a player with experience. They need someone that's willing to go out there and just make a hard tackle when needed, get that card if needed, but someone to put that confidence in there and to carry the team when needed, and they haven't been able to do that. So for example, last year Monaco was able to be more consistent and they were able to win the league. I don't think that they'll win it this year simply because PSG was adapting to a new coach. They just had a rough start to it and they weren't able to catch up at the end. This season, I think that they'll be able to win the league again. I expect Neymar to have a great year because it's the French league. I expect Mbappe to have a great year again. So all these things, I think that they're going to win the league again. But are they really going to settle for just winning the league, maybe winning the cup? No, after spending all this money, they need to win the Champions League. Because as great as their offense can be with Mbappe, with Neymar, with Cavani, with Di Maria, even Draxler off the bench, what are they going to do when they face tough defenses that don't allow them to score? Because realistically, they're not going to score every single game. They can't just depend, we'll just outscore them. It doesn't matter how many goals we allow, we'll just outscore them. Because that's not always the case. There will be games where Neymar just isn't there, when Mbappe just isn't there, or when they just can't connect, or when they face solid defenses when they just can't score. So that's when they need to rely on their defense. And if their defense isn't comfortable yet, if their defense isn't, has that character back there, if their defense is weak, what are they really going to depend on? They'll be able to win the league. They'll be able to maybe win the cup. But when it comes to Champions League, they have to face good teams eventually. No matter what, if you're going to win the title, you always have to face at least one good team. Their defense is ready for that yet. And, the whole course of the season, they don't really ever have to face a defense that tough. They'll have to see a Monaco. But other than that, I don't see them really being challenged on the defense. So the whole season, they'll just, in their mind, they'll be, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. But when it comes to Champions League, they actually play great teams. Their defense isn't ready for that. Keep in mind, when you have a new trio up top, it doesn't automatically just click by magic. It takes time. When it comes to the tough part of the Champions League, come February, come March, they have to be ready. If you're depending on the attackers to win you the game and they're not fully clicking yet, how are you going to win the game against big teams? So what do you guys at home think? Do you guys think they're ready to make that jump? Do you guys think they're going to be able to contend this year? Or are they still going to be a step or two behind? Don't forget to follow me again on Instagram, MP Sources. If you guys enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your grandparents, tell everybody. In every week, every Tuesday, be on the lookout for a new video. That's it for this week, guys. And if you guys have a topic that you guys want me to discuss for next week, just comment below, just DM me, and I'll make sure to get to it. We'll see you guys next week.
Another one, and another one.